as we talk about body art. Body art is my love. And then whenever I get a question, what is body art? I get at the same time excited and at the same time a little bit sad. I get excited, of course, because it's my favorite workout. I really love it and I love to share it with other people. So, like if someone told me you need to choose just one workout, one program, one method to do until the rest of your life and nothing else, I would for sure choose body art. And as a Pilates teacher, this is a really big thing because Pilates teachers are really invested emotionally in their Pilates practice, and so I am as well. But body art is really something different. So I'm really excited to share it with you, and I'm always excited to share it with people. But as I said, I also get sad because I don't think body art can really be described well. I cannot transfer you what really body art is through my words. I don't believe that you can understand it, that you can feel it just by reading or hearing about it. I don't think that you can also do that by seeing the exercises. So if I now showed you the exercises, I don't think that you can really understand, because usually when people see a body art class, the comment that I heard most often is, it just looks like yoga. So it is not yoga. And that's why I don't think you can really understand it just by hearing it, seeing it. I don't think you can even understand it by experiencing it once. You can get a feel of it, but not really fully feel it. I think it is something that asks you to do it for a while to start to get it. Because it can happen that when you first try it, you might not like it, you might not enjoy it. And this happened to me, and actually I know a lot of other people who are now either huge body art fans or they're even teachers now, who the first time when they tried it, they didn't like it. And I'm gonna tell you later about why that is. So that is why I don't think that just by trying it or just experiencing it once, you can really feel the depth and the value of this program. So I'm going to start systematically, and I will talk layer by layer by layer. I'm going to peel different layers of body art for you. And through these layers, we are also going to go into the philosophy that is behind body art. So the first layer and the first question that we have with any exercise that we do, with any method that we do, is what is the goal of this workout? What is the goal of this exercise? And in body art, according to my teacher training, the goal of body art is optimal functioning of the human body. I'm not sure if they changed or updated this, because I did my teacher training back in 2015, so it was quite a long time ago. But my perspective is that in addition to optimal functioning of the human body, one of the main goals of body art is also developing athletic abilities. So optimal functioning of the body and athletic abilities. Because in my opinion, body art is really athletic. It works on strength, flexibility, mobility, coordination, works on fascia health, even cardio and explosive movements as well. And it doesn't do it on a basic level. So it takes all those things, it works on all those things. Let's call them, in one word, let's call them fitness. It works on fitness that is needed for optimal functioning of the body, but it works on them on a higher level, and it takes them to really a higher level, to a more athletic level. And one of the reasons why it is athletic and why it is higher level is because 99% of the time you are doing full body exercises. So at every moment, or like at almost every moment of the class, you're using all your body parts at the same time. And that is more demanding than if you were doing, let's say, just the bicep and the rest is not doing much. Okay, so now we know the goal of bodyART as a movement method, as a workout method. Now let's see what kind of exercises we can see inside this class. So this also is not easy to explain because it is a mix of different things. The basis or two main bases of a bodyART, of exercises in a bodyART class, are yoga and strength training. So that means that we can see exercises which are made from or inspired by yoga asanas, but also we can see a lot of classical strength exercises like squats, lunges, push-ups, some functional movements going up and down from the floor, even jumps. So yoga and strength training are the base of the bodyART method. But also we have elements of Tai Chi and Qigong. So these are Eastern movement disciplines. We also have a sprinkle of influence of Pilates, and that is mostly when we are doing abdominal exercises. Then also we have stretch and flexibility training, and we have therapy exercises, what we call therapy exercises. Therapy exercises are exercises adapted from physiotherapy, and they are focused on spinal health. We also have bodyART's original exercises, and we have breathing and relaxation techniques as well. So it's a lot, and this is why it is hard to explain. And that part is also when I feel a little bit sad, because I think when people see all this stuff, it a little bit puts them off, because when you have so many different stuff, how can it be meaningful? It's like, a pile of stuff, right? And I get it. If I now saw a new program that just has this and that and another thing, I would also be a little bit like, really? But bodyART is really not like that. bodyART is a really meaningful and deep method. I don't know if this holds any value for you if you don't know me, but I am the kind of person that doesn't spend time or energy on superficial things. I really don't like superficial things. So if I'm there, if you see me doing something and being interested in something and investing myself into something, it is meaningful and it is deep. It is just who I am as a person and how I operate and what interests me. And I've been teaching bodyART for 11 years already, and I only love it more, and I only see more depth in the program as the time is passing. Now I want to tell you about how a bodyART class looks like. How do we do it? So it is a flow type of class. A flow type of class means that you are constantly in movement, constantly in motion. So the flow can look like a yoga flow, think like sun salutations, these kind of things. That is one type of flow, but it can also be looking completely different and still have constant movement and constant energy flow. And that just depends what kind of class we are doing, and it depends what the teacher connects with and what the teacher likes to express and to transfer to the students. So that was the technical part of my intro to bodyART. And now we come actually to the most interesting part, and at least the most interesting for me. And that is the reason why bodyART is so special. So it's not just a combination of some disciplines and just putting together a class, but actually bodyART is based on traditional Chinese philosophy. I'm not an expert in traditional Chinese philosophy and their teachings and all of that. So what I'm going to share with you is just very surface level information, which is what we are using to create classes, what we are using as guidance in creating classes. And I will say it as my understanding of it. So keep that in mind, that this is a really huge topic that I'm not an expert on, and I know the parts which are relevant to my classes. I want to make it as simple as possible and again as systematic as possible so that it's easy to follow. We can say that in body art we have three main pillars of traditional Chinese philosophy that we are using for our classes, that are directing how our classes are going to be. And those three pillars are the five elements of nature, the Yin and Yang concept, and the Meridians. And by the way, I'm not telling you this because you need to learn it and you need to, accept this information or something like that. You really don't need to know it to join a class, to enjoy the benefits of the class, to enjoy the feeling of the class. You really don't need any of this. And I'm sure that many of my students have no idea about this because this is not really communicated in a class. It is like behind the scenes of a class, and what you get is simply a workout. Just think of it, it is just a workout that has just some philosophy behind it. How and why we are choosing exactly this exercise at this time. How and why we are breathing in a certain way. So it is just about that. And it is more information that is really important for me as a teacher because I'm using it to create a class. It's not just random. There is this thing that is directing me how to create a class. And then you can just come and enjoy the class. So the five elements of nature are earth, wood, fire, water, and metal. And these elements are basically phases of a class. So in each class, we go through each of these phases, and each phase directs what kind of exercises we are going to do in that phase. It directs what kind of energy, what kind of vibe, what kind of feel that phase is going to have, what kind of pace, what kind of breathing. Everything is going to correspond to the phase of the class that we are doing at that moment. So for example, the element of the earth is grounding. So we have the grounding exercises, we have the grounding feel of that phase. In the fire, obviously, we have the fire. It's the most intense part of the class. When we have the metal, it is cooling, you see. So in each class, we go through each of these phases, and in that way, we complete a cycle. We complete a cycle of energy, let's say. So first we ground the energy, then we lift it, we expand it, then we reach the peak. We stay at the peak for a while, we stay in the intensity for a while, and then we lower it down and we cool it down. And by completing this cycle of energy, we feel the completeness of the class as well. So that is why when you leave a body art class, you leave it with energy. So it's like you completed it and now you're ready to use the energy again, and you don't leave depleted. And then we have yin and yang. Yin and Yang symbolize the duality of our world, of our universe, and it is a concept that I really, really like. Yin and Yang is a concept of opposing forces, that there exist opposing forces in our universe, and these forces are at the same time opposite and at the same time complementary, and they are essential parts of the whole, and they are always in interaction with each other. I like to use the word dance. They're always dancing with each other, and through that interaction they create the balance of the world. They create the cohesiveness and the balance of the universe. And just remember that this is my understanding of it. So if I'm using some words which are not 100% precise, it is just how I understand it. So what this means is that inside the class, we always have this dance between yin and yang. We inhale and then we exhale. We go up and then we go down. We expand and then we contract. So there is always this polarity between the two opposites, which are complementary to each other. And throughout the class, you feel a certain rhythm, you feel a certain pulsation of the yin and yang, although you probably don't know what it is, but there is that feeling of up and down, of expanding and contracting, of yin and yang. And through these pulsations, through these up and downs, up and downs, up and downs, we achieve a dynamic and balanced flow of energy. And then the third, what I called pillar, are the meridians in the body. I added this as the third one, although it's not so necessary, because it is not like working on the meridians is not the goal of every body art class. It would be maybe a sub goal of some classes, and it can be one of the main goals of, again, of certain classes. So in body art we have different modalities of body art, like body art basic, dynamic, stretch, flow, etc., etc. So for example, in the body art flow, one of the main goals is working on the meridians and opening of the meridians. But I still wanted to add it into this intro video, because still, even though it is not our main goal and we do not create all classes to work on the meridians, the movements are simply like that, that there are certain movements, even if we use them for a different goal, they still work on the meridians. It happens like a byproduct of the class. So what are meridians? According to the traditional Chinese practices and sciences, we have the energy or the qi flowing through the body. And the energy is flowing through the body through the meridians. So meridians are like pathways for that energy that is flowing in our body. Like we have the blood flowing, so according to the traditional Chinese philosophy and medicine, we have the energy flowing as well. And when these pathways, when the meridians are unblocked, we have an unbothered, unblocked, unrestricted flow of energy, and the body is healthy. But if we get some blockages in the meridians, then we can experience some symptoms or some diseases. You probably know about acupuncture. So acupuncture works on the meridians to open them and to create again that free flow of energy, and with that to create health in the body. So in body art, with some movements that we do, we can affect these meridians and we can work on their opening as well. So that was the base of the philosophy part of body art. And with that, we come to the end of the intro video. So it's a lot, right? And remember, you do not need to know this in order to join the class. You just, now that you heard about it, you just may experience the class differently. You may be more aware of some things than if you just didn't know about it and you just came to class and did the workout. And if you're like, I don't really believe in this, it's okay. It's not required to believe any of this in order to enjoy the benefits of the class, right? So you can just come and do a workout. Like, I'm sure many of my students, they didn't even know this. If they watch this video now, they will know it, but they didn't know it before. So they just come and they enjoy the workout. Like, you can go to a yoga class and never hear about, for example, concept of dharma or other yoga concepts, and you don't have to believe it in order to benefit from a yoga practice, from a yoga class. So it's totally up to you and your interest and what you want to do with this information. What I wanted, and I hope that I achieved this goal, is to give you an overview of the depth and the layers of body art. So you can stay on the top layer if you like, and just come to class and do those different kind of exercises, do them in a flow, and you're going to benefit so much. Or you can just explore different layers. Me, as a person, I love layers of things so much. It is a little bit weird, I guess, but I really like, if I am studying something, if I'm learning, if I'm practicing something, I really like that feeling when you're doing kind of the same thing, but every time that you do it, you feel something new, you understand something new, you discover something new, find a new path to explore, a new thing to learn. This is just really exciting for me. And this is why I love body art so much. This is true for me, I think, in all things exercise. So I'm like this in Pilates as well. And whatever I do, I'm like this. I like the layers. But body art is really special. It's a really special program with so many layers and so much potential for you as a person. So maybe you remember that in the beginning of the video I mentioned how I didn't like body art in the beginning, and other people that I know as well. So now you may be wondering, like, if it is so great, why didn't you like it? What was there not to like in the beginning? And I'm going to say my experience and experience of some other people. So I realized that we share the experience, and it's simply, it was the intensity of the workout. For many egos, the intensity of the body art is not tolerable in the beginning, and I was one of those. My ego was one of those egos. It was literally exactly like that. It was like I couldn't tolerate the intensity. And I'm not someone who is running away from an intense workout. I like it. I enjoy it. This was just a different kind of intensity. It was like, I'm not sure, but it was like my body and my mind was resisting it. I didn't go into deep layers to explore, all the layers of why this was, but let's just say it was like that. I couldn't tolerate the intensity. But then after a while, I guess the ego just dissolves. And then you just start flowing through the yin and yang. You kind of allow yourself, you let yourself flow through it, swim in it, and then you just start loving it. Well, that's it for now. If you have any questions or any thoughts arising about body art, I'd love to know. So do let me know. And until next time.